Welcome to the Own It Show. I'm Heather Lee Chapman, your holistic performance and business coach. And I'm so excited to be here with you all today. It's time to stop sacrificing your health and freedom and start scaling your results in your business and all areas of your life. Here at Own It Empire, we help entrepreneurs become high performers and increase their awareness so they can increase their impact and create profitable business online so that you can truly own it. Welcome back to our Mastery Tips and Tricks show. I'm Heather Lee Chapman, your host and coach, and I'm so happy and thankful and grateful to be here with you guys today because we have special guest Carly Buehler in the house. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. And today we're talking all about let's get real about fitness, pre and postnatal exercise guidelines. And I really wanted to bring Carly on today because I network with a lot of professional ladies who are in their theme of life of making babies. And I know how important it is for us to be our optimal self. And sometimes we just don't know what we don't know. And it is great to keep the exercise going. And I'm not going to share any of that, but you're going to want to know why and how so you can do it safely. And that's why we've got Carly here today. So you can turn around and come back to that best version of yourself, even maybe even better than before. So thanks, Carly, for being here with us today. Please share more about yourself and your business.
Yes, absolutely. So hi, everyone. I am Carly Buehler. I am a postnatal fitness specialist, a full-time working toddler mom. So I have a full-time job and then I have a full-time job with my toddler. I work with pre and postnatal women on their fitness to feel confident in themselves and how their body can move, their ability to move safely so you can do more of what you love during pregnancy and after. My mission is to really show women that they can move confidently during these magical different phases of their life. And I've always wanted to be the easy access resource for people. And so that's why I've built what I've built. I also am, just like a little side note, I am based out of the Americas. So I am in North Carolina. So anyone watching from that area of the East Coast, I'd love to hear from you.
Love it. I love it. And you do online coaching as well as in person, correct?
Yeah, so like my main thing that I started is online. I work full-time in person, so I have a degree in exercise science, certified personal trainer. I manage a fitness facility, like that's my full-time job, but my big thing, like the baby of my business and what we're going to be talking about, that's all online. So we can do it anywhere in the world, honestly.
Yeah, I love it. So it doesn't matter where you're tuning in from today. She's got great resource for you, and then she's got great options so you can get that support online, which is I think is so good for busy new moms.
Yes, that's like truly why I started it. I mean, I knew where I was in my phase during pregnancy and postpartum, and I I wanted to be easy access. That's always been the goal, but the other big goal is like easy access from a financial standpoint. Like I know when a baby comes, people their budgets go straight there and mom gets left behind. So that's why I built what I built.
I love it. And we know that we have to fill our cup first because we can't pour from an empty cup. And the tendency is to give it to all to the baby. And guys, I want you to make sure you put you first. Listen to everything Carly's going to teach, access her resources, reach out to her because when you are your best self, you can give the best care.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Let's dive into your tips today.
Okay. I was just going to say the same thing. Let's dive in. Okay. So we're going to kind of go in chronological order of who I serve, like pregnancy and then postnatal. So just first and foremost, talking about the importance of pregnancy, exercise, and the myths surrounding it. So the biggest questions that I have, and honestly, like some questions that I went through myself are, should I exercise and what should I do? Just a little background before I dive into the like actual benefits and the myths is that when I was like newly pregnant with my son, like they just confirmed it with a blood draw, no ultrasound yet, like that early pregnancy. The nurse who I saw just to like confirm that I was pregnant, what she did was give me a pamphlet of stuff, super outdated. And then she said, no, if you exercise, don't lift more than 25 pounds. And I was like, I don't think you know what I do for work because I do that all the time. But that was my first like red light where I was like, if like I'm questioning this, and I want to say I know better, right? I know other people who like are super baseline in fitness or maybe want to start exercising to have that healthy pregnancy. They're going to have questions about it. So that's why I've built a course for prenatal fitness, but I really just want to educate women on exercise and how beneficial it is, especially because to no fault of their own, the generation that raised us did not have this education. And so
Mhm.
sometimes that's who we butt heads with the most on like our moms telling us like, don't exercise, you're not being safe, I don't want you to get hurt. And as someone who we may or may not like really honor, that's hard. So I really want to just educate people on the benefits, because the benefits of exercising during pregnancy is really similar to just the general benefits of exercise, right? So pregnant or not, it's really good for a whole wealth of things: your mental health, your weight management, your longevity, like even like your bone strength, and your reducing risk of falls or all of these like diseases like osteoporosis, high blood pressure, all that stuff. So besides the baseline point of it, it's really good to exercise during pregnancy to keep the growing body kind of centered and at bay with all of the changes, so we can work on strengthening as our body grows and adapts. We can strengthen the muscles that kind of have to offset and hold where the belly is growing. And then we can also do mobility to help try to ease some of the tension points that generally come with like round ligament pain, or even just like hips get tight because the belly is right there. So the benefits of exercise are there, and not even to mention the mental aspect of it. Sometimes during pregnancy, women just get so like they want to do so right by the baby that sometimes exercising in a confident way can allow them space to like feel like actually in control of something, because you can feel that many times during pregnancy and not pretty out of control. But when it comes to like specific benefits, like straight up to pregnancy, I'm just going to go through a quick list for you. So it does help prepare the body for labor in different ways of being able to contract, and the pelvic floor being able to release it to open so you can give birth. Also, even working through like cardiovascular exercises can help you get in tune with your breathing so you can work through contractions better. Keeps the body strong, kind of like I said, with the way that your growing belly offsets your center of gravity. So we need to make other parts of your body strong to compensate for that. Reduce back pain and joint pain. The reduced back pain is also very relevant to the fact that you are growing forward. Your back is holding the brunt of that weight. So we want to strengthen the back there. Great for blood flow and circulation. So you might have known a pregnant person who wears compression socks just because the way that the blood flows, the baby takes all the blood flow, basically. So if we can exercise, it gets the blood flowing because the heart's pumping more blood through our body, and that can help alleviate some of those symptoms. And then just decrease risk of certain pregnancy-related complications such as preeclampsia, which it's not guaranteed, but it can reduce your risk of that. So all in all, prenatal wise, exercise is a go. Just find someone to talk to, and I'd be happy to talk to you about how to do it safely. Of course, there are pregnancy complications that can limit what you're allowed to do, but go into your pregnancy with the mindset of you can at least try it.
Yeah, I love that. And I still remember there was this lovely lady that I had trained for a while, and she was pregnant, and we worked and continued to train, and we did a lot of hip openers. And she said it
Mm,
was the easiest birth. Not like,
yeah.
ooh, like, but it was so much easier. I was like,
Yes.
well, maybe it wasn't like, whoa, so easy, it's still giving birth, but it was so much easier for her.
Hmm.
And the recovery time was so much shorter.
Hmm.
So,
Yes.
yeah, I know from my experience with training clients, it does make a big impact. And
Yeah.
all in all, that mental health outlet is priceless.
Yes. Yeah, I have a similar story. There was a girl who used to do one of my group exercise classes, and it was just like a boutique group fitness. I'm not saying I programmed all of her workouts, but she was running on a treadmill until 40 weeks pregnant, which is absolutely like insane, like magical. Don't listen to this and think you have to do that, because I didn't do that. But her delivery was so fast for her first baby. The doctor was like, you please tell me you work out, because that was like the most endurance that I have ever seen. And like, I'm like in shock. And she's like, yeah, I do work out. So similar story.
Yeah, I love that. So getting out of the myths that it's unsafe and actually getting into the facts that it can make that process smoother and easier and the recovery time so much shorter.
Mhm.
You're in nutrition school, they actually taught us that you want to prepare your body for up to 3 years in advance because you can't give your baby what you don't have.
Yeah.
And so the fitness is just one of those components, but I know
Mhm.
that it's such a physical thing that is so the fitness is so essential for
Yeah.
that process.
Yeah. And you make a great point with that, like preparing your body. So there could be people watching this right now who might not be in this phase of their life, but maybe hopeful in the future. It's okay to start now. It's okay to start minimally, go for walks. On the flip side, if there's someone watching this who hasn't exercised, it's also okay to start. Just do it smart and safely, and just really try to listen to your body. So we can see both sides of the coin with that.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's one of the biggest things is always just regardless, listen to your body.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Your body will give you signs, too much, not
Yeah.
enough, and just getting in tune to what you need holistically for you, your
Mm-hmm.
individual approach, and having somebody like Carly guide you, just to make sure that you are making those right choices.
Yeah. Yeah.
So amazing. Let's dive into tip number
Okay.
two.
Yeah. So, like I said, we're going to go kind of chronologically. So, let's talk about postpartum, specifically like returning to exercise postpartum and kind of where to begin. I can even give you a little bit of kind of like a breakdown of weeks. So, when can people return to exercise postpartum? The biggest thing that people think is after that 6 week checkup with your doctor. The 6 week checkup is pretty much just to make sure that there's nothing going on kind of internally or bleeding wise from the actual delivery. It doesn't have to mean that's your green light for exercise. And it really shouldn't mean like do nothing for 6 weeks and then do everything after 6 weeks. So I actually encourage people to start sooner than that. Basically, it can go a little bit different depending on C-section or vaginal birth, but you can do start with just slight walks. So maybe like what I generally say is maybe one day, like I'm going to go for a walk today. My bleeding has subsided. My C-section scar feels a little bit better. Maybe I'll go like 2 neighbors down and then just turn around. And then maybe like the next day I'll go to like the third neighbor and turn around. So however you start, you want to start with the most natural forms of movement first, something that you're probably already doing like around your house, and start with increments. So build up to it. Think of it as baby steps or building blocks. So starting with like the walking and the connecting with your breath again. So breathing is a really good thing to do again as early as like 2 weeks postpartum, because it helps connect your mind with your body. So you can think about your breathing. It's called a 360 breath. And laying down in a comfortable position, working on that breathing can actually be sort of meditative as well. So it's a way to kind of like get the mental aspect as well. So you can start as early as 2 weeks postpartum. Again, unless something major happened, you had a traumatic birth, that might be different for you, but it's okay to start there. And then a little bit later on, it's okay to start adding in some like deep core and pelvic floor work. And I'm still talking before the 6 weeks. So that's going to look like doing minor movements like bird dogs or even like half bird dogs. And these are all exercises I can talk on more. Dead bugs and glute bridges are also great. So these are all exercises that are on the floor. So you can basically just roll out a mat, lay on a couch, whatever it might be. And it's just stuff that really starts to help reconnect the core
Mhm.
with itself again, because there is diastasis recti, which is the separation of the abdominal muscles, which we will talk about just a little bit. And starting to kind of work on that or working on it even in pregnancy is okay to do before the 6 weeks, because you're not jumping, you're not lifting really heavy weights. Again, it's just a way to reconnect your mind with your body and how it's moving. And then after the 6 week checkup, and I don't know if in Canada, if it's 6 weeks, Canada's healthcare system, I think, is actually a little bit advanced above America. But if it's not 6 weeks in America, it is. But after that checkup, when you start diving into it, start diving into like, say you are looking to get back to strength training, dive in with body weight strength training. And then again, baby steps is the absolute best way to go, because it's very, very common for women to do too much too soon and then take like quite a few steps back. They might start bleeding again. Their abs could like separate more. They could have like other issues like even like hernias from mismanaged pressure. So when it comes down to it, it can take your body up to 2 years to recover fully from having a baby. So think about that when you think about getting back into exercise.
Yeah, step by step, one foot in
Mm-hmm.
front of the other, not jumping back into the routine you had started, say,
Mm-hmm.
9 or 10 months ago.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yes.
really easing back into it. And I think as humans, a lot of us are like A-type personalities and we're like gung ho and we want to jump into it. But what it's exactly, I want you to hear what you said, it sets you back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. So what you want to do is like really take your time with it so that it's a smoother and easier process and we continue to move
Yeah.
forward instead of like take 3 steps forward, 5 steps back, 2 steps.
Yes.
So just really listening to your body, make sure it's guided, working with
Yeah.
someone like Carly and taking your time.
Mm-hmm.
I
Take your
just
time.
Yeah, I just think getting into movement, right? Like how you were saying, just starting with the walking. There's so many great yoga classes now and like great gentle
Mm-hmm.
yoga that you can even bring the
Yes.
baby with. Like I still, my nephew's only
Yeah.
6 months old and his mom is so great and she takes him to baby yoga class and it's really
Mm-hmm.
just like gentle for the moms and a space for the baby. So there's so much more now within our communities to support this. And so sometimes you just need to look for that. And I think for your mental health, to have that community with people going through similar things so you can share and talk about
Yeah.
it and realize that you're not a one-off, that a lot of the things are common
Mm-hmm.
and we can learn and support each other. So looking
Yeah.
for those local community groups that you can connect with and do your breathe and do it step by step.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up because there's even like across, probably into Canada as well, groups of moms that just get together to walk. So even if that's like the lightest place that you're starting, the gentle yoga, the walking groups, there's a lot more like motherhood villages being like created of communities. So I'm so glad you brought that up because it's so much easier to go through any aspect of postpartum fitness, mental or beyond, with a group.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're better together. We're social beings. We're meant to be in a social
Mm-hmm.
environment. So you don't have to hoard away and stay with the baby and not see anybody else. Actually, to go and be with that support group, it
Yeah.
is priceless. And I think really it's essential, especially if your partner's working full time.
Mm-hmm. Such a good point. Okay, I'll keep us moving. Let's
Yeah,
go
please.
into tip number 3. So I kind of alluded to the fact that there is something called diastasis recti, which is the separation of your abs. So we're going to go into like after the pregnancy, after you've had your baby, the importance of deep core strength. And before I dive into this, I should say it's important to work on this both during pregnancy, before pregnancy, and after. So this is always like a common thing. And honestly, men can also have ab separation too. So this is not actually just for females. It's just how you manage the pressure in your abs. So the importance of deep core strength and how we can reduce or stop incontinence, which is leaking when you jump or sneeze or something like that. And then the separation of the abs. So of course, when your body grows in pregnancy, your abs can only stretch so far. Virtually everyone's going to have some degree of ab separation during pregnancy. It's not something that you can avoid, but it's something that you can train your body on how to recover quicker and again get those muscles to talk to each other again faster. So basically, there's different degrees of it, and it's really determined based on how the gap between your abs, but also if they can still create tension with each other, or if they're basically just not talking to each other. So we're talking about like, think about like a 6-pack ab, like the right side and the left side, right? Like if there's a split in the middle. So deep core strength is all of the boring exercises. It's not like the really crazy stuff that you see people posting on social media with like all of these ab exercises that look so hard to try, but it seems like everyone can do it, but they can't. Deep core work is like really the slow, controlled, think Pilates like movements where it takes some time and it also takes a lot of thinking, again, connecting your mind to your muscles, and that breathing comes into play. It's like the 360 breath. Um, Working on the deep core in association helps the pelvic floor because when you cannot fire your ab muscles correctly, you're mismanaging pressure, which basically is going to push pressure down into your pelvic floor, which is why it becomes weaken because it's being used in incorrect ways, which is generally why you are peeing when you sneeze or cough or something like that. So there's a really big importance on slowing down the core work, both for everything that we just talked about, but also to be able to return to strength training sooner, because your core goes into play with everything you do with squats and deadlifts, even overhead movements like shoulder press. And like I said, in the timeline, you can start that early. Like I would say as early as 4 weeks, unless you're doing a very, very scaled back version of it. A bunch of exercises can be done like cutting them in half. Like instead of using your arms and your legs, you can use just your legs. So okay to modify it. But with all that to be said, it's super important to dive into the deep core strength. If you want to start anywhere, if you're itching to get started after you have a baby, starting with the breathing and the deep core work is exactly where to start. And you can absolutely strengthen your core in just 10 minutes a day, 3 to 4 days a week, and start to see improvements in the ab separation and the leaking. I know because I have a program that women have gone through and they've been super like shocked. Like I've only done this when my baby is like laying on the mat next to me, and it's like my window of time to do exercise, and somehow it's gotten better. Like a client was like, I went to my pelvic floor physical therapist, which is also great. But I realized that it's out of budget for some people, which is why I educate and do what I do. But she went to a pelvic floor physical therapist and was like, the therapist was like, what are you doing besides what I'm telling you to do? Because like you're improving a lot. So again, 10 minutes, a few days a week. I have a deep core guide that I would love to offer everyone who's listening to this. So if you are listening to all of this, and you're kind of wondering, like I'll say things like bird dogs and dead bugs, but the exercise dead bug sounds crazy. Maybe you haven't heard it before. It's got a crazy name.
It does.
Picture a cockroach like laying back, like belly up, like flailing its arms. Like that's kind of what like a dead bug looks like in human form, just more controlled. But the deep core guide I'm going to make available, we'll link it here. It's free. It includes 5 different videos to walk you through different exercises and talking through the importance of it and how we can work on the deep core and also how it helps the pelvic floor. So it's a download that you can have with clickable videos, and I would love to just offer it.
Yeah, amazing. So guys, that link's in the description. And this is, like she said, core strengthening is so incredible for before, the during, and the after. And these are actually your deep core muscles that most people don't activate and strengthen. And then they go and do a bunch of ab exercises without these activated. And that's how we actually get injured. So for anybody listening who would like to strengthen a core, that is of great value for you. People would pay so much money to come and learn that when I worked at a physiotherapy clinic, right? And this is a free guide with the video. So grab that link. This has been incredible. So many great tips. And again, I just want to help make this information readily available for the people in the house who are looking to have a baby. Maybe you are, and maybe you're post. We want to make it as smooth as possible so that you can return to that quality of life, keep that quality of life, and maybe even improve it. So amazing tips. Thank you so much for your information today. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
I'll say one more thing. If you're listening to this and you're like, do I want to take time to download a guide? Do I need it? If you are ever doing core exercises, like the biggest one might be like lying leg drops. So like laying on your back, dropping your legs, and you notice that your like midsection just kind of cones up a little bit. So like instead of your core staying like flat, right? As you drop your legs, your midsection starts to cone up, almost like making a mountain in the center of your belly. You need to work on your deep core. That's a sign that it is mismanaged pressure and your abs are not firing together like they should. So if you've ever wondered, like, why does that person do leg drops and it looks like they're automatically have a 6-pack ab as soon as they drop their legs, and I feel like I'm like creating a mountain, it's just the way you're managing your core. Your external abs are stronger than your deep abs. So that is the like, if you're going to go lay on the floor and like do any sort of self-assessment, that'll be it.
Absolutely. These are the exercises you'd start with anybody post like rehab. So absolutely priceless for anybody who's listening, having a baby or not. grab that guide because who doesn't want a flatter stomach and who doesn't want a stronger core and less back pain? These are the benefits that you're going to get when you do exercises like this. Then you can go and do all your incredible strength training after you've done the basics. But we often try to skip to Z without doing A.
Yes,
So grab that guide today. So thank you so much, Carly.
Yes.
Incredible episode. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you so much. This was fun. I could talk about it all day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So guys, grab that link. Maybe you want to rewatch this to hear some of those tips again. And we just want to remind you to stay happy, healthy, wealthy, and remember what's the best that can happen. We'll see you on the next episode. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning into the Own It Show today. Make sure to leave a review and subscribe. We want to thank you for your time and energy and extend the invite for you to join us in the Own It community on Facebook, an incubator for conscious entrepreneurs so that they can step into their greatness. We have tons of free trainings and resources for you, as well as a great opportunity to network with people leaving a positive impact on this world. Make sure to come back for next week's show. Have an incredible day. Remember, expect magic and miracles. Stay happy, healthy, and wealthy.